This is the Hollywood Outsider, a weekly movie and TV podcast with a new episode every Thursday. This is episode 132, and this week we are discussing upcoming releases including Need for Speed, Tyler Perry's The Single Moms Club, been there, and Art of the Steal. Our spoiler-free reviews of Nonstop, Patrick, Evil Awakens, and Cement Suitcase are from the Outside In topic this week, with rumors running rampant about another Matrix trilogy, which we'll talk about, Justin. Calm down. What other franchises would we like to expand on? Latest in movie and TV news, including our own trivia segments. My name is Aaron Peterson, and with me today are my fellow host, Scotty Clark.
Thanks for having me, Aaron.
Justin McCumber.
You need to pick better friends.
Yeah. Brian Williams he won our Oscar contest. Of the hosts, he won. He got every single one right. He won.
It's like he rigged it.
It's almost like he called Hollywood and said, here's, what I want to, do. And but he bailed at the last minute. He's apparently very ill, or, as we like to think, he has horrible stage fright because he was supposed to host the show. Sorry, Brian. Hope you feel better. Sincerely. Pansy. Well, we'll talk about the Oscar winners and everything else a little later in the show. We'll let you know who won our Oscar contest and gets either a fancy Blu-ray or gets to come on our show, whatever they choose, as well as we'll explain how the second and third place ended up working out. That's going to be later. I do want to mention real quick before we move on, the Razzies, Jaden Smith, he got Worst Actor of 2013. Who else is doing it? What? You feel bad? Because you like Mr. Positivity.
Yeah, sure. There's nothing wrong with being positive. I wasn't a big fan of him in that film. I think he's gotten there because of his dad, obviously, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. But I just get tired of this whole cool to hate on people.
Thank you.
Thing that's going on. I mean, last year it was cool to hate on Nickelback. I mean, this year it's Jaden Smith.
That's always all right.
Yeah, see,
it's always okay. It's always okay.
No, Aaron, why don't you answer that? I mean, what is it for you that is really fun? Or
it's fun because
cool or whatever
he's
to create an award system based on nothing but sarcasm and just hating.
I actually don't like the Razzies. I think it's it's kind of a ridiculous concept. I mean, I get it. It's supposed to be fun. The one year that Halle Berry won, I thought was actually pretty funny because she showed up and collected her statue.
Yeah,
I respect
Catwoman.
That. I respect that. But I'm not a Jaden Smith fan. I've said it on the show, so it made me giggle inside. I'm not going to lie.
Part of me feels like, well, he and his dad seem to think he's got a big career in Hollywood, and this is just the beginning. So it's entirely okay that he gets the Razzie. But another part of me is like, no matter what, he's still a kid, and I don't think kids should be up for this kind of thing, even if that kid is on TV all the time talk about how cool he is. I don't like it. I don't like the Razzies. I hate the entire idea of taking your hatred and just putting it out there so that other people who are just as cynical as you are can go, yeah, fuck those people and their movies and their wealth and riches. A lot of it just seems so much sour grapes.
No, I feel the same way. I get tired of it.
Still funny to me. You guys are a bunch of buzzkills. That's what I'm saying. Because I'm happy. Yay!
Hey, if it's a happy buzz, then I'll be happy. But if it's you want to shit on something buzz, then no.
You shit on things I like all the time. I don't want to hear your fucking soapbox. But I don't create a whole fucking
internet award system for it.
You would if you knew how. You'd jump right on it.
No, the only one I would ever do is That's All Hate Aaron. I'm going to create a podcast about it.
I think you already did. I found it on accident one day. Now, this came out, and it got a lot of people talking, and I want to talk to you guys about it, because I think it's silly. Watchmen came out years ago, right? The movie Watchmen came out years ago, and Zack Snyder is out there defending his movie that he made several years ago, and I'm not somebody that doesn't even love Zack Snyder, and I think this is stupid. Because Joel Silver, who's a producer, he produced classics like Lethal Weapon and The Last Boy Scout. He is out there.
You're not joking, though. That's what's funny.
Yeah, I like those movies, but it's hard to say that with a straight face still. But Joel Silver's out there saying that he preferred Terry Gilliam's proposed ending. It was a movie that wasn't even made to what Snyder did with it because he was too much a slave to the material. And Snyder's out there defending it. Now, Justin, you were a big fan of. Does he need to go out and defend his movie that's already made? And was really pretty closely related to the actual graphic novel.
Well, a couple of things. First off, Joel Silver, why the fuck are you bringing this up now?
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's been years.
I mean, is it one of those things where I'm just not being talked about enough? I mean, everybody knows Joel Silver's an asshole. That producer character
produced
in
The
True
Matrix.
Romance.
I'm just saying he produced The Matrix. Watch it.
Sure he did, but he's also been on True Romancer as a producer character. That was Joel Silver. And it was pretty apparent to everybody in the film, or who had seen it, that was Joel Silver he was talking about, and it's been in subsequent interviews. That's who that character was based on. Joel Silver's a dick. He may have produced some awesome movies, but you could still be an asshole. Why bring this up now? And two, no. In fact, Zack Snyder shouldn't say shit. Don't dignify that bullshit with an actual response. You're doing Man of Steel. You're doing Superman versus Batman. You're doing a lot of really interesting, cool things right now. Don't lower yourself to defending yourself against this bullshit. Just ignore it and let everybody else ignore it too.
I think that's easier said than done. It's one thing. Everybody gets a lot of criticism for their work, but this is something that he was obviously very proud of. Yeah, I mean, he made a whole movie around Watchmen, put a lot of work in it, a lot of blood, sweat, and tears, and then somebody in a public medium basically landblasts it. I mean,
for no reason, really.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's just silly. It really is.
It would be hard. It would be hard to not defend yourself. I don't think he has to. I don't think he needs to. And I think we kind of discredit him a little bit. I don't want to say discredit's not the right word, but like just turn the other cheek kind of thing. I kind of wish he would have, but I don't fault him for responding.
I don't fault him, but it's when did Watchmen come out? I mean, we're talking, a good 4 or 5 years ago?
Oh, longer than that, but yeah.
Okay, so this movie's, it's been out there for a good long while. At this point, what is...
2009, 5 years, right. That on.
What can Zack Snyder say at this point that really is not going to be what he's already said many times before when he made the film and he was promoting the film and when it opened up to some pretty negative reviews? It's been 5 years. Joel Silver's a dickhead for bringing this shit up, and Zack Snyder just shouldn't even mention it. I think he shouldn't.
He should apologize for all the blue dong that was swinging around. That's it. That was unacceptable and totally unnecessary. He should still be apologizing for all that dong.
Dr. Manhattan needs to fight Satan's dong with his blue dong and just have a dong off.
Watchmen, this is the end.
A dong off.
A dong off.
Oh my god.
I mean, a big blue glowing dong and a fiery dong? Shit, that'd be like a lightsaber battle.
All right, we've lost the kids now.
It's like I see Schwartz is bigger than mine.
Telling you, it'd be like on Mustafar, the lava planet. That's what it would look like.
All right.
I'm not saying where the lava's coming from.
The Terminator is getting rebooted. We've talked about it a little bit. Now we have some tidbits, some plot points of how they're going forward with the story, which is they're kind of going back to moments that happened in the previous films. So it's kind of a reboot, kind of a remake, and also some kind of new entity. It's going to take, it's going to brush over events in the previous movies. There's going to be several aspects of it, but it's of the previous films, but it's also going to be a new scenario. Do you guys think they should go back and revisit the truck chase scene on the bridge in Terminator 2, or the melting pot scene in Terminator, or the police station scene in the first movie? Should those events be revisited if you're not going to do just a flat out remake?
I think they should if you were going to go do an actual reboot, but this sounds like a complete combination of reboot and rehash.
It's like they're confused what they want to do.
It is. It seems like they want the best of all worlds in this one film. I mean, how are you going to have an origin story of the Terminator and Kyle Reese and have John Connor in the same film? Are you going to jump timelines? I mean,
it's got to happen. Yeah,
it has to. I mean, it's a time travel movie technically anyway, right? So jump around.
Jump it down.
I do like the comparison of the reboot of Star Trek in this. That gets me excited. That it's going to be.
Explain what you mean.
Well, I mean, because the original Star Trek movies, I do like almost every other one of the original Star Trek movies, but some of them are really hard to watch and a little slower. And I think that the movie just kind of just revitalized it, gave us an origin story, tweaked the story a little bit, to make it its own.
A little bit?
Well, a lot bit, but I mean, you still have the original characters. You still have a lot of their original origins there.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? They took some liberties with the story, which and I'm glad they did, and I hope they do that with the Terminator franchise. But like you said, they just seem like they're just kind of confused with which direction they want to go with it. What do you think, Justin?
Until it comes out, I don't want to offer too many opinions about what the story may or may not be now, because really we don't actually know all the ins and outs of exactly how this thing is going to go down. Yeah, if they really want to do it to where there's like alternate timelines and somehow an event happens that changes the events of the original film, resulting in something similar but also something different in this new film, I actually think that's an interesting way to go about it, because what it does is it respects the original film and yet carries something off into a different direction. They're not just acting as though that first film doesn't exist. Their new film's not in a vacuum, and I think that's an interesting idea. But I'd like to, wait and reserve judgment until I see how this new film is going to play out.
I don't know if I like this new Justin. I like old snap to the point Justin.
Wait, what?
Snap judgment, Justin?
Yeah, him too. They're twins.
I'm trying to be a little more measured.
Whatever that means. I don't know who that is. Well, according to Latino Review, and they've gotten some things right, some things wrong, but we're going to blame them just because if it's wrong, that way you know where to go. The Wachowskis are in the early stages of prepping a new Matrix trilogy. Calm down, Justin McCumber. So regardless of where you stand on the series as a whole, what I want to know is, do you think, and we'll talk about this topic, we'll expand on this topic a little later, but just for the Matrix, do you think there's enough left in the tank for 3 more movies?
Well, the thing about The Matrix is that because it's a science fiction film that takes place an indeterminate number of years in the future, we don't even really know how many years it is. Morpheus thinks he knows, but even he doesn't really know how many years it's been. So there is a lot of story there that can be mined leading up to the original Matrix, as well as story leading after the final film. I would like to see them go back and either tell the story in we have an animated version of how the world came to be as we know it to what it is in the Matrix films. It was an animated 2-parter in their Animatrix series. I would like to see them take that story and instead of doing it as an animated film, really break that into a trilogy all of its own. How does man create these robots, create this synthetic life, and then all the repercussions that come from us treating them like slave labor when their intelligence has gone beyond the point of you being able to do that. I think that's an interesting story, and I'd love to see them do something like that as opposed to, all right, here's 10 years after Neo died, and here's where we are. To me, that story's kind of done. Let's go back to the beginning. Let's tell some of that early stuff.
Pull a Star Wars on it, George Lucas.
Maybe you shouldn't throw that around so quick.
No, I'm not saying to that level. I'm saying from an aspect of starting with episodes 4, 5, 6, so to speak, and then going back and doing 3 films of leading up.
I think he's right.
Yeah.
I mean, that's really the only way you could do it, isn't it? I mean,
well, yeah, the way the trilogy ended.
Unless these people are so dumb that they freed themselves and they got right back in the same hole.
Well, the only other thing I could think of is there was a lot more people in Zion than just the ones that we saw. There could be some, there was a lot of other ships that got sent out besides the, was it the Nebuchadnezzar? Was that the name of it? Justin?
Morpheus' ship?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
I mean, there had to have been a lot more ships than that one, right?
Oh, yeah.
There could have been a whole lot of other adventures that could have happened or things, just because, outside of focusing around Neo. But I do like the idea of going back and telling the story. I would be totally down with it if they could tone down the scope a little bit. And bear with me, Justin. I know you love those movies, but
you're saying I'm not attacking it.
I'm not attacking it. But well, first off, the technology then was incredible. What year was that? 2001?
99 was the first
99?
one. Was the first movie.
And imagine what they could do with that today. They just upped that ante so much. I want them to mess with my head like they did with the first movie as far as we're plugged in and we're we're powering these machines, that kind of thing. That was just a total mind trip the first time I saw it. I want that, but I don't want it to be so convoluted to the point that I'm sitting there scratching my head and trying to understand what
You don't want them to fall into the same traps that you felt they fell into.
Well, like the scene with the architect. I've sat there and watched that several times, and I've picked apart that speech that he gave, and that's not what I want in a Matrix movie. I want.
Oh, God, I loved that whole scene.
Did you?
Yes.
I mean,
because it made so much fucking sense once you understood what he was saying. I was like, oh shit! Now that's all right. Now I get it. Let's go.
How many times?
But a lot of people hated it.
I'm gonna have to go back and watch it
camp.
again. So, for me, I think that the idea of the Matrix, the novelty kind of wore off a little bit after the first one, because the first one to me was so great because it was a total mind trip to me as far as
it's balls out too. I mean, it was just everything you wanted in a movie, not even just an action movie, just a movie.
Right. I like the idea of going back and introducing some of that story, but I don't think it will be as I got to go see that as much as I did with the first one. But I'm hopeful. I really hope it happens, and I'm excited to see what.
Well, I did some research, and the reason that it's taken so long to even consider it, because originally that apparently was the plan. The Wachowskis had a plan, I guess, originally. But when the sequel came out, number 2 came out, it made like $291 million. And then the next one came out, and because the middle one was so not well received, I'm trying to be nice because I know Justin loves these, and I don't want to sound like I'm poo-pooing them.
You can say whatever you want. I am well aware that my love of that film is very singular to me.
No, my son worships that series, so
well, that's true.
Yeah, but the third one dropped to like 136 million, so it was. I mean, it dropped by more than half. You know, and that to Warner Brothers, that kind of scared them, so they backed off, and now they're considering it because I think there's still a cult out there that really likes films like Justin and other people that really like the originals and would like to see it continue.
Plus, you're looking at 15 years later. There's a whole new audience of people that may not have even seen it.
Keanu looks the same. You could really just cast him and still have him in it. But if what Justin said is really the only way I could picture doing it. If you did something in the future, I don't think I'd have any interest at all. I would give him another chance because I do think they're extremely talented. I just think either they took themselves too seriously, in my opinion, and overshot. Because in my opinion, the other 2 movies were just trying way too hard, and there wasn't anything fun about them. You know, it was all talk, and not interesting to me personally. If they got back to the way that the original film was, where it was a very even dose of action, story, exposition, and more action. You know, if they had that nice combination they had in that first movie, I would be all about a new series with them. And I already know they can give the look. I'm not worried about the look, not worried about the action. I'm only worried about how they present the story.
Right.
So, I would like to see it.
Me too.
What about a Minecraft movie? Because every game has to be a movie apparently this week or this month. Now they're talking about they've actually bought the rights to make a Minecraft movie. Why?
I'll tell you why. Because of the popularity of Minecraft. For those of you that aren't familiar with Minecraft, it is a video game series that was created actually back in 2011 and is still very, very popular, especially among the younger generation. It's all my kids talk about in class. They're all obsessed with it. They're drawing pictures of it and everything. It's basically, the best way I can describe it is very rudimentary graphics of a big bucket of Legos that you can build anything you want to.
So basically they're jumping on the Lego train because Lego's so popular they think they can.
Well, it's funny you say that because they actually have one of the producers from the Lego movie has agreed to sign on to it. So he's actually involved in it. And obviously for good reason. Just to give you some idea, the game itself has sold over 15 million copies. Now, granted, it's only a $20 title as opposed to a $60, but still, that's a lot for a game that looks like that.
All right, we don't need game history from Scott.
No, I'm just trying to tell you this is why they want to make a movie of it. The game is what 3 years old now. Last week, it was the number 7 top selling game of the week. Consistently.
But what in there? Now I get it, and everybody's going to throw out well, they did it with Legos. Yeah, exception, not the rule. The rule is what story can they get from this?
I have no idea. I mean, the game doesn't have a story. The game is literally a bucket. It's not like a Lego video game where you play a little Lego guy that goes around and plays in a Star Wars universe or Lord of the Rings universe. It is quite literally you go hack down some trees to get lumber, and you chop some, or you mine some rock, and you use the materials to build things. That's the whole game. I mean, but I'm trivializing something that sounds very simple, and it kind of is. But if you see some of the things people create in this, it's nuts. It's nothing that I'm interested in, but so there's no story. The idea of the story is you build things. When it gets dark out, you go hide in a cave because these bad guys come out, and you have to stay away from them. That's so the whole
movie is just you run into a cave, come back.
Well,
out of the cave,
that's the joke. Is like that's what the movie's going to be. It's going to be 20 minutes of someone swinging a pickaxe at a rock, and then but
and then everything is awesome.
Look at what they did. Like I said, what they did with the Lego Movie, they made an interesting story out of it. Well, do I think this will be as successful as the Lego Movie? No, but with that much of popularity with a younger audience, there's no way it doesn't make sense. It'll make money.
Justin, you had a heavy sigh. You know what that means. What is your thought?
Well, Candy Crush is a popular game too. That don't mean they should make a fucking movie out of it. It's not a game with a narrative. It has no story, like you've just said.
Well, neither did Legos.
Well, but Legos at least has a history, as you mentioned. Lego Star Wars, Lego Indiana Jones, Legos Lord of the Rings. There is a history of them using Legos to go into those universes and tell a story in a, Lego way. Breaking things apart, remaking things. Mm-hmm. There's at least been attempts at making stories and narratives using Legos. They don't do that in Minecraft. That's not the point of Minecraft. Mm-hmm. I think it's strictly a money grab, and I don't know how they're going to make a film of it. And if they do make a film, more than likely it's just going to be some story they make up, and people will come in droves because it's the it game of the day.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
I don't see the point in this when there are much better games to make into films. See our latest After Dark episode for a whole bevy of that.
Mm-hmm. I agree with you 100%. I'm just saying that I'm explaining why they're doing it. Because
it's a shameless money grab.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Welcome to Brian's Trailer Park.
Well, the only trailer that we've got this week is the newly fresh off the presses trailer for Transformers: Age of Extinction. This is now the 4th film in the Transformers universe. No Shia LaBeouf to be seen.
What?
It is starring
He was kicked off set.
Probably. He went off with a bag on his head, talked about seagulls or something.
They need a character wearing a bag on his head getting stomped by Optimus.
Who explodes.
Explodes.
Michael Bay style. That would be fantastic.
That would be kind of funny. Anyway, this one stars Mark Wahlberg, and I did not look up the girl's name, but a girl that does not look young enough to be his daughter.
His daughter, no.
It looks like a love interest age range. Not.
Well, he is 40. I mean, 40-something, 42, 43, something like that. He's up there.
I know, but still, it was enough to distract me when watching the trailer.
Daddy.
It was.
Like, ooh.
I know, it was like, whoa. But anyway, the trailer, it's not a reboot. It is a continuation of the franchise. It's in a world where the 3 movies have actually happened. In a world. And apparently a new threat that is still kind of undetermined.
I don't know. Really... I'm pretty sure it's Dinobots.
Well, I know there's...
I don't think that's... I'm sorry, continue.
No, go ahead.
I don't think that's the threat. I think it's Cybertron.
What?
I think it's remnants of Cybertron that have come to Earth. Because remember at the end of the 3rd one, they were bringing Cybertron to Earth using that gate.
Oh, yeah.
That gate thing. And, of course, that collapsed. And so... Cybertron didn't appear here, but when you look at the ships that come arriving towards Earth, that looks, and a lot of that stuff looks like it's Cybertronian. If I had to guess...
Is that a word?
I made it. If not, I made it up, and you're welcome.
You're just making up the Justin McCumber lexicon.
Mm-hmm,
nice.
Mm-hmm.
So what is the release on that officially, Aaron?
June 27th, 2014. And the girl that you were awkwardly staring at, that is a child, Scott, from where you should
She's
sit.
a child?
Not really, but Nicola Peltz.
How old is she?
I don't know. I didn't look up her age. I just know that she does a lot of seductive poses for a girl that's hanging out with her dad. Just letting you know.
Nothing awkward?
Nothing awkward or inappropriate with a girl half naked, Michael Bay likes to do. Whenever he can.
They're living in Texas, so...
Well, hey, if Game of Thrones has taught us anything,
on.
Incest sells, so...
Whoa, Scott.
Game of Thrones is popular.
Mark Wahlberg transforms into somebody who's not her dad.
Come for the swords, stay for the incest? I don't think that's what we do.
All right, well, you can watch that trailer at thehollywoodoutsiders.com, as well as trailers from other episodes. If you have a thought or a topic idea, you can tweet us at H_outsider. Like us on Facebook.com/The Hollywood Outsider. Leave us a message or text us at 818-81-AMAHO. That's 818-814-6246. Or email us at feedback@thehollywoodoutsider.com.
We haven't got a voicemail message in a while.
We sure haven't. We would like to have one. What? Someone needs to send a voicemail. Let's go to the big screen and review any new releases. We've got Tres. The first one.
Tres, I believe.
No, my version of French. It's Tres.
French and Spanish. That would be trois.
Let's go to. Wait, what?
It would be.
Nonstop is the movie that I saw. That's Liam Neeson. He plays Bill Marks. He's a drunk. He's antisocial, and he's also a U.S. Air Marshal on a flight that's transatlantic. You know, he's going over the water. Got a long flight ahead of him. Sweet guy. Well, he gets on his transatlantic flight when he starts receiving text messages from an unknown terrorist that say, "Get me $150 million in 20 minutes or I kill a passenger." I don't know about you guys. I have a hard time getting $20 in 20 minutes. So he obviously has a problem.
Probably costs that much to call from the plane, doesn't it?
I think it does, yeah. just for the internet. As the film goes on, it becomes more and more clear that Marks is being set up. If you've seen the trailer, you already know that. And we end up with Liam Neeson on a manhunt with tons of red herrings being thrown around like there's no tomorrow until you finally actually know what's going on in the film. Look, this movie is dumb.
Really?
It is. Well, let me finish. It is not a smart movie. This is dumb fun. There's actually a point in the movie, and I can't tell you what it is because it will spoil it, but there is a point in the movie where you actually have to make a decision. Am I too smart to continue this, or can I just go full retard and have fun with it?
You could swallow the dumb pill.
Exactly. Which pill do you want to take? Because there is a point where you just have to. You have to. I mean, there's basically a terrorist on board. He doesn't know who it is, and there's a lot of suspects, and it's kind of a little mystery. The passengers actually at one point believe he's the terrorist, and they still go along with him in his ploy to catch the guy that they think he already is. It's just, it's so stupid. It makes no sense. They keep the network up, even though he's getting these messages from shut the network off. Guess what? No more text messages. Problem
Well, he's
solved.
white, right?
He's what?
White, right?
Yeah,
He
he's-
can be a terrorist.
You always bet on white.
Yeah, there you go. It felt a lot like that. So, thankfully I can go full retard. I have no problem with it. It's not.
No, you don't.
It's just not a smart movie. It tries to be. It thinks it is. It's almost like when Liam Neeson was reading the script, he's like, "Oh, it's very smart," and I could see why he would think that. But if he would have, stopped being Scottish for a little bit or Irish for a little bit, whichever he is, I think he would have realized no.
You're just like, they all sound alike.
They all sound alike. But it's not. Julianne Moore is here, and I have no idea why she signed on for this. Her character could literally be played by Gina Carano. That's how bland it is. This character has nothing going on except, is she a suspect or is she not a suspect? I don't know. But she kind of helps out a little bit for a generic character. It's hard to sell you on this movie without just saying, if you like snakes on a plane, there's a good chance you'll like this. It's that kind of ridiculous.
There are people that don't?
Duh, yeah. Yeah. I don't know them personally, but there
I
are
never
some
actually
people.
saw it.
Oh, you didn't?
I think that movie looks so dumb. I guess my level of dumbass that I can take in a movie does have limits, and there was so much on that one. I'm like, I won't even subject myself to this.
Well, I have to say this. The movie is fun. Liam Neeson has this ass-kicking gene that Kevin Costner obviously wishes he had. All of these other guys that are over 60 wish they had. There's a point where there's several people gang up on him, finally. And he manages to look like he could beat the shit out of every single one of them. That's impressive to me. And he's fun. He's always serious. He's always got a good look at him, and that voice is fantastic. Mm-hmm. I do want to point out, for anybody that's wondering, Liam Neeson, I think he's a handsome man, and he's a great actor. He has a really not attractive smile.
Yeah.
There's a point
It's like
where
he's straining.
Yeah.
it's just that, he's so serious you don't realize it, but then there's a moment where he tries to smile, and it seems so forced because it just doesn't look right. It doesn't look right. I had to mention that.
Does he want to smile or eat my face?
Anyway, this is a movie where you can leave the theater knowing you were entertained. So as long as you can check your brain at the door, literally, check your brain at the door, especially the last 20 minutes, because it's borderline ludicrous.
Wait, you want me to
what
literally
happens.
check my brain at the door?
I think you should. Yes, I think it's very important.
Do you know what literally means?
Yes, I know what it means. Take it out of your head, because anything that actually has logic in it will not make sense in the last half hour of this movie. You'll just, what just happened? That is not scientifically possible. It can't happen.
I don't think that's why people go to see this movie.
No, it's not. And if you're going for that, if you're going just for a fun thriller, it is a fun thriller. It really is. If $10 is the full price of admission nonstop is $6.50. And he still got it, man. I look forward to Taken 14 or whatever he's on at this point.
Should they have called this one Taken a Trip?
Patrick, Evil Awakens, Justin. What is that?
Well, this is an Australian horror movie directed by Mark Hartley, written by Justin King. And it's actually a remake of a film called Patrick that came out in Australia, I believe, back in 1978. For some reason, somebody felt like that movie needed to be redone. So here you go. It stars Charles Dance. Some of you might know from Game of Thrones, Sharni Vinson. Aaron, you seem to know what movies she had been in.
She was in Your Next, which was that she was. If you guys remember, that was my pick for best female performance last year with Sharni Vinson.
I think she was in a Step Up or one of those films.
She
as
was.
well.
She was. Yeah.
It also stars Rachel Griffiths, which I remember mostly from 6 Feet Under, and then a woman named Peta Sargent, who is an Australian actress who seems to stay mostly in that country's movies and television shows, so I haven't been familiar with her. But it's a film about a young nurse. Well, not actually a nurse. She's been going to medical school to learn about brain conditions, and she is hired on to be a nurse at this very remote psychiatric hospital where she's overseeing the care of a lot of comatose patients. But one in particular catches her attention. His name is, of course, Patrick. He is also the main comatose patient for our Charles Dance character. He plays a Dr. Oh gosh, I forgot the name of his character. Dr. Such and Such. No, I'm sorry.
That's a great name.
Dr. Roger. Pardon me.
Dr. Such and Such.
Yeah, Dr. Such and Such. I remember him from General Hospital. Dr. Roger, who is trying some experimental procedures to create new neural pathways in the brain using electricity. And these are pretty brutal tactics that he's using. The nurse, or the woman played by Sharni Vinson, hates what's happening, and so she tries to put a stop to it. Unbeknownst to her, though, Patrick isn't just your average. Is there an average comatose patient? Not your average, if there is one. And he has been developing psychic powers because of those electric procedures that he's been put through. As you can imagine, a lot of horror ensues once she tries to get those procedures stopped. He's also in love with her.
Aww.
And so he's menacing the other men in her life. It's, as far as horror films go these days, I think it's better than most that I've seen. It's really kind of an old school show. It doesn't have a lot of CGI in it. There's a little at the very end, but it's really minor. It's all practical effects. It's all music. It's all
I like that.
dark corridors and, dusty, cobwebby walls. There's a lot of misdirection that goes on. It's a film that I can appreciate because it doesn't try and get slick. It doesn't try and outmaneuver you, or doesn't try to dazzle you with a bunch of effects. It's a little bit more old school than that, and it has its problems. I mean, it's a little uneven, and the music can sometimes get a little over the top, especially with the strings. I hate it when they go to the violins to let you know something's about to happen.
The old Psycho approach.
Yeah, but really those are fairly minor when seen in the rest of the film, and I thought it was a compelling horror film, especially these days when there's just so few good ones out there that aren't, found footage type movies. This is an old-fashioned horror film, and in the end, I enjoyed it quite a bit. If $10 is the full price of admission, I give this one $7. If you'd like more of my impression of it, though, I do have a written review up on the website where I go into a little more detail about some of these things.
And Sharni, did she impress you?
I liked her. I liked her quite a bit. She was kind of a little skinny and frail, but yet there was a strength to her character that I could believe that she would put up a struggle and fight for her life. I thought she was a good actress. She delivered her lines really well, natural on the screen. And I think she's probably going to have a pretty good career ahead of her if she can avoid, any more step ups or any of those kinds of movies.
I really recommend people check out You're Next. It's not the best movie in the world, but just watch it for her performance.
I would, but I don't like slasher films.
Yeah, it's different. It's not what you think it's going to be. It's really not. It's not a typical slasher flick, and she is great because the whole movie, you think she's going to be that general waif character that you get in those kind of horror movies, and she's not. She's just somebody that just goes for it. She's like Katniss in a horror movie. Katniss Everdeen. I mean, you got to see it.
Does she have a bow?
I'm not going to spoil it. At one point, let's just say she kicks more ass than you ever could, Scott.
Well, that's not saying very much.
That's true. I mean, probably sitting down, she could kick more ass than you ever could.
Still not saying very much.
I also saw a little independent comedy called Cement Suitcase. It's about Franklin. And then also this movie is now on video on demand, by the way. Franklin is the best wine salesman in the county. He has a gorgeous girlfriend, and he's just shy of having a mental breakdown.
In the county?
Yeah, in his county.
The best wine salesman in the county?
In his county. Yep.
That's
Yakima,
an accolade?
It's a big county. He lives in a wine county. He's in Yakima, Washington. There's a lot of wine there.
An odd way to tout your job performance. The best one in the county.
Well, hey, I'm the best podcaster in this chair, so that's just how some people have to do it, man.
I'm just not sitting in your lap, that's why.
That's true. He just made friends with the guy he knows is sleeping with his girlfriend. His house is in foreclosure, and his roommate keeps breaking his Xbox. Seriously, Scott, there's a couple scenes where I think you might actually storm out from anger. When his roommate, Jackford, that's his name, begins showing him the way to appreciate life in the same way he appreciates wine, Franklin kind of starts to make a few necessary changes. This is one of those small character comedies that begins and ends with Franklin himself, who's played by an actor I've never heard of named Dwayne Bartholomew. He creates a character with enough honesty and humor to not drive us nuts, as we kind of see how cavalier he handles all the chaos in his life. And for the majority of the film, it's not like you see in most of these kind of movies. I mean, he makes really dumb decisions that we all probably would. He's afraid of everything. He's really afraid of going out and trying to succeed on his own. He's afraid of breaking up with his girlfriend because he doesn't want to be alone. He's afraid of everything. So the movie is about him finding the strength to just leave all that and actually try to be something different. Bartholomew did a really good job. His girlfriend Charlene is played by E! News' Christina Guerrera.
She's his girlfriend?
I swear to the Lord. Yep.
Oh my God! Yet again, another one of these King of Queens bullshit.
Hey, she might appreciate his humor.
No,
he's a very funny guy.
No, he's way too tubby for her to be. No, I'm calling bullshit.
Anyway, she has the unenviable task of trying to seem
being his girlfriend.
of trying to make an unsympathetic character feel relatable. And she actually has a nice scene near the end of the movie that I thought she handled very well, and it really made the character click for me. That scene really sold her. I think she has a future. She's not just a correspondent like I thought when I started watching the movie. Jackford is played by Nathan Sapsford, and he's the typical fly-by-the-seat-of-your-pants Owen Wilson type character you get in movies like this.
I love that,
but he was a lot more interesting.
I love that that's a genre of actors now.
It is
the Owen Wilson type character.
It is, but he does enough to break away from it, so it's not grating or anything like that. More interesting to me was Sean Parsons as Brad, because Brad is the guy he's literally banging Franklin's girlfriend, like the whole. And Franklin knows about it. But he ends up befriending him.
Literally banging.
Yeah, literally. They're just...
Banging is a euphemism. You can't literally a euphemism.
Yes, I can.
I think we need to teach Aaron what literally means.
Literally, you should.
You literally misused it.
But you never really quite get if Brad is even aware that he's shagging his girlfriend. I honestly don't. You don't know until the very end which side he falls on. And the guy does a great job of making you wonder that. Because he's sleeping with the guy's girl, and you still kind of root for him because he's kind of a cool guy. So I really like this character. It does go on a little bit long. I didn't like how they wrapped up one particular storyline, which I won't explain because it is a spoiler. But overall, it's a fun and somewhat sweet little movie that I think is worth the taste. See what I did there? You have $10 the full price of admission. Cement Suitcase is worth $6. Now let's go to box office. Frozen joined the $1 billion club. It became the 18th largest movie worldwide ever.
That's awesome.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, it won big at the Oscars. It made $1 billion. I guess the soundtrack's probably going to do well. John Travolta doesn't know how to say the singer's name.
Oh, man, that was so bad.
You feel bad for her. Thanks for introducing him to someone else.
What's funny is he said it so matter-of-factly, like Adele Dazeem.
Yeah, that's not her name, John.
Not even close.
Did he see the note card earlier and think to himself, I don't really know how to pronounce this. Perhaps I should go find someone so they can spell it out phonetically on this card so that I don't look like a world-class douchebag who thinks he's too important to know how to pronounce a singer's name.
Plus, he had one eye way open wider than the other. He just looked like he was up to something the whole time.
Obviously, he needs to be cleared.
Wow. Well, Liam Neeson beat Jesus in a fair fight. as Nonstop landed at number 1 for $28.8 million in its first week. Son of God rose up to $25.6 million. Absolutely biblical opening. Nobody was expecting it. I'm shocked.
I'll bet you that'll go up, too.
Why does that make you sigh?
Fucking people.
It's going to go up, too, as we get closer to Easter.
Why do you say... There's a lot of people that like God, just because you don't.
Fine, then watch the Bible that had the full version. Why do you got to watch a chopped-down version in a theater?
Because they like to support it.
Yeah, there you go.
That's
I
honestly
forgot they're
a big
under attack. They need to make all the money they can.
The Lego Movie got knocked off its block to number 3 with $20.8 million. It's got $209 million total. 3 Days to Kill got shot down to 4th with $4.9 million for a $20 million total. The Monuments Men was right behind Costner with $4.9 million for a $65 million total. They both got beat by the Neeson. I can't believe Neeson beat Jesus. That is something that you got to brag about when you go to church on Sunday.
I wouldn't brag about it there.
Well, he's Irish or Scottish, one of those, so you know.
Maybe in the next Jesus movie he could play the Roman general.
Oh. Or why don't he play Jesus and he could just
Oh, fuck no.
kick the sinner's ass? How about that?
He kicks ass for the Lord, huh? All right, folks, we have got 3 movies that we're going to be talking about this week, all of them opening up on March 14th. First one up, Tyler Perry's Single Mothers Club. This also apparently marks the end of Tyler Perry's Lionsgate deal. Considering how much money his movies make, I'm sure they'll be offering him a new one, but who knows, maybe he'll go on to a different studio. Now, this one was, of course, written and directed by Tyler Perry, making it a Tyler Perry joint. Brought together by an incident at their children's school, a group of single mothers from different walks of life bond and create a support group that helps them find comedy in the obstacles of life. Now, this one stars Amy Smart, Terry Crews, Nia Long, Tyler Perry, of course. Scotty, I don't think Tyler Perry's films have really been our bag from the beginning. Does this story about single moms make you want to change your tune?
I wish I could say it did, but it didn't. I have no interest. It's not only is it a drama that I just can't personally relate to whatsoever, I'm finding it harder and harder to get interest in anything that has Tyler Perry's name attached to it. I mean, I want to because I think he has the ability to act well, but everything that has to have that Tyler Perry's and then the name of the movie before it, I just don't care. I'm sorry.
I like his dramas better than I like his I don't like the Medea movies. Some of his dramas
yeah.
have been okay. The one I can't remember the name of it, Save My Life, but the one about the dad I think Idris Elba was in it. The dad and the kids, that was really good. Daddy's Girls or Daddy's Little Girl or something like that. I don't know what it's called, but that one was actually really good. I have no interest in seeing this though. I'm like you.
It doesn't even look funny. I mean, I wish. If any of our listeners are, single mothers and this relates to you,
I've known a few of them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I'm honestly curious. Are people interested to see this movie? Because it's obviously not made for us.
Yeah, I mean, it's not made for us, though. I kind of even take that phrase now and wonder, what it means. I mean, it's like a piece of art's kind of made for everybody, but yet it's not. I don't know. It's just a weird art philosophical thing I've got going in my head. I don't want to hate on Tyler Perry. I feel like this, we make jokes and, sarcastic comments about the guy, but, it isn't my place to say he's a shitty filmmaker, considering how many people he does tend to please.
Yes, that's what we do the whole show for, Mr.
Regular
Positivity.
Basis. I mean, this movie is not my cup of tea. It's a single mom's club. I am not a single mom. I really don't have an interest in a club about single moms.
That's the strip club.
The Amy Smart is kind of hot, so maybe if it was like a MILF's club.
Just
and
raining
we
dollar
brought
bills.
this to a new low.
Dollar bills, y'all.
All right, let's move on. Next film, The Art of the Steal. Now, this is written and directed by Jonathan Sobel, and it stars Jay Baruchel.
Really? That's the first name you
Catherine
threw out?
Winnick, Matt Dillon, Terrence Stamp. Oh, I'm sorry. Did I skip someone, Aaron?
Yes, you did. Name's Pliskin.
Oh, right. Kurt Russell's in this. Nearly forgot. All right. Thank you for correcting me. A third-rate motorcycle daredevil and part-time art thief teams up with his sneaky brother to steal one of the most valuable books in the world. Watching the trailer, this seemed a little bit like an Ocean's kind of movie. Aaron, did you pick up that vibe, or do you think this movie is something else entirely?
First up, I do want to apologize to the single mothers I offended by saying strip club. I'm sorry, but hey, I've dealt with a couple in my life, and that's where they ended up working. So it's true.
There's no shame in it.
There's no shame in it. But this movie is Kurt Russell. Dude, I didn't even have to see the trailer to know I was going to watch it. But when I watched the trailer, it seems like a fun heist movie, yes. It does seem like Ocean's 11. It does seem a little lower budget. Obviously, probably not as well done. The only thing that made me nervous is it started with that 3,000 Miles to Graceland vibe with him looking like a little Elvis impersonator. That makes me nervous because that movie was just god-awful.
Doing an Evel Knievel impersonator this time instead.
Yeah, but it looks just like his Elvis impersonator.
Yep.
Same guy. Yeah, same guy. But it's Kurt Russell. What?
Evel Knievel is Elvis.
Makes sense now, doesn't it? It's all coming together, Scotty. But I'll be there. I'll find video on demand wherever this thing is. I will find it. I will watch it. I will review it, and I will watch it again probably.
I think it looks funny, but I think that's about where it ends.
But you thought Kurt Russell looks amazing, though, right?
Sure.
Thank you.
Kurt Russell looks amazing. I am not reading this off of a cue card. No, it looks like a heist movie, but I see where you're getting the Ocean's 11 vibe, but it doesn't seem that as interesting as Ocean's 11 to me. It seems like
they're not like successful actors. They're all
but that movie would have been still fun even if it didn't have successful actors, I think you could still have made a fun movie out of that. Mm-hmm. This just looks like the whole point of it is to make little jokes here and there or little quips, and that's how I got from it. So I think it looks funny, but nothing I'm going to rush out to see. But again, I'm not a Kurt Russell fan. I mean, I like the guy, but I'm not like I want to have his children or something like you do.
That's where you're wrong. Sorry. Maybe you should correct that.
Maybe we should go have his babies right now.
I'm starting a class. You want to join?
He's squirmy in his chair right now. You should see him. He's
I'm so excited. What about you, Justin?
It's been on video on demand for about the past week, and every time I see it, I'm like, I wouldn't mind seeing this, and then I kind of drift over to something else, and I keep forgetting about it. It's a movie I would like to see. I love heist films. I like heist films that have some jokes in them. I do like Kurt Russell a heck of a lot. So this is one that I will definitely be seeing at some point. No hating from me.
I'm not hating. I just...
Oh, no. You don't love Kurt Russell. Therefore, you are a hater troll.
Exactly. Thanks you for pointing it out, Mr. Positivity.
Be more kind. All right. Last one.
Well, get over that, because that be more kind stuff's getting old. Be Justin. There's no need for this nonsense.
No, you're like Darth Vader or Emperor Palpatine whispering into my ear. Good.
Exactly.
Give in to your anger. I will not go down the dark side, Aaron. No, thank you.
I will. I have electric fingertips is basically what you just told me. That is the coolest power ever.
Awesome. And lastly, Need for Speed. This one is directed by Scott Waugh, stars Aaron Paul, Dominic Cooper, Imogene Poots.
So cute.
Does that mean Imogene Poots all over the place?
Oh, man.
Oh, I should have known her back in grade school. I would have made her life a living hell.
I'm sure someone did. I'm
That's
sure.
too good of a last name. Imogene Poots. Love it. Fresh from prison, a street racer who was framed by a wealthy business associate joins a cross-country race with revenge in mind. His ex-partner, learning of the plan, places a massive bounty on his head as the race begins. I think for me and a lot of people, their interest began and ends with Aaron Paul. Since Breaking Bad has ended, not that long ago, people are curious what the actors involved in that were going to go on and do. Need for Speed is, of course, a video game film, and those usually do not do well, but with Aaron Paul in the mix, a lot of people are much more interested. And I think to its advantage is, the unfortunate fact that the Fast and Furious 7 film has been pushed back to next year. So if we want to get some Fast and Furious-y kind of action, this is pretty much it. So, guys, Need for Speed, do you feel it? Do you feel the need for speed?
I do, Maverick.
Hey, whoa. You can be my wingman.
Anytime. Anytime. Yeah, and I wonder how much credibility the movie would have if it didn't have Aaron Paul at the height of Breaking Bad's, rise.
Well, didn't they show the trailer like at the final episode of Breaking Bad?
Oh yeah, they weren't stupid about it. They were pretty smart.
Say if this starred the guy who played Jacob in Twilight, would you have the same interest?
No, I would have zero interest. It honestly it starts and ends with Aaron Paul, because these kind of movies have been done 100 times, and Fast and Furious, they found a formula that just worked magically for them. Not many other people have been able to get it to work. The car movie, so to speak, Apex in the 70s with Cannonball Run, and then was kind of revived, or got revved up, I guess you could say, by Fast and the Furious. But every other movie pretty much sucked. I mean, this one really caught people's attention just because Aaron Paul was such a huge hit because of Breaking Bad, and he was starting to, he got huge on Twitter, and he became a king of social media, and Cranston and him were just seen everywhere, and you saw what kind of acting he could do if I watched the show. I think he's the one that makes this movie interesting. Not even the cool special effects. Dominic West, Imogene Poots, doesn't really bring in the actors. She's actually a very talented actress. If you saw Fright Night, I think she's really good, and she was just in that awkward moment. I reviewed that a while back, and she was a standout in that movie. Everybody in the movie is very talented. I just didn't expect this to register with people, and if Aaron Paul wasn't in it, I don't think it would have, but I want to see it.
I want to see it too. I don't think I'm as excited as you guys are. I know Justin's been really talking about it a lot. But again, to be fair, I'm also not huge on the Fast and Furious movies like you guys are. I think they're okay. They're fun. I just don't get as excited. I don't know, and plus I feel like I kind of have to check it out at least since it is a video game movie, and that's what I'm passionate about.
You're obliged.
Well, the thing is, with a name like Need for Speed, that's kind of an ambiguous title. It could just be, that title alone could just be a car racing movie, even if it weren't attached to a video game franchise. And I think it's detached itself from the video game enough.
Was there a story in the video game?
Well, there actually was. There was like a
modicum of story around which all these driving sequences are based.
Right. Huh. It was just more of a backdrop.
I didn't know there was a story. Yeah.
So, and I think that if a lot of people knew that it were based on a video game, they probably wouldn't go see it, to be honest with you. Oh, that's a video game movie? I'm out.
It's still got Aaron Paul in it, man.
That's true.
I do like the whole Aaron Paul aspect of it, but I got to say, when I saw the first trailers for it and I saw some of the stunt work involved with the cars, I was rather impressed with what they were doing with those cars. In Fast and Furious, even in the most Fast and Furious moments of cars just revving and going around corners and doing just really awesome stunts, it's still kind of tongue-in-cheek a little bit. And there's always a hint of humor about it. But in this film, it looks like it's done for drama. You know, they're going a little more serious with their tone. And I'm really curious to see how a movie like this does with a serious tone and not with a, hey, we're bringing all your favorites back for one more round in some other foreign country.
We got some safes. We're tying them up to the back of the cars. We're dragging them around town.
So that's still fucking badass.
That was cool.
We killed 47 people and nobody cared.
Yeah. But Aaron Paul's he's a good actor, and I don't think he would have attached himself to this movie if he thought he was, my first, big show outside of Breaking Bad. It's going to be this clunk and turd piece of shit film. I think hopefully he knew better, and we will know better when we see it.
And he is a good actor. He really is. And not just in the show. He's done several other smaller parts, and he's always been a good actor.
I just want one of his license plates to be "Yo, bitch." I need that. Maybe that's the last shot of the film. Him taking off in some squealing tired car, and that's all. That's what the camera zooms in on. Yo, bitch.
Oh, no.
You know what I feel really bad about him, or for him about, is he's going to have to do huge junkets for this movie, right? I mean, he's going to be doing press nonstop.
And that's what everybody's going to have him do.
And everybody's going to ask him about, say, yo, bitch. If I was him, by the end of this junket, all I would want to do is hang myself because I would get so... He's already...
How many times do you think that's yelled at him? Yo, bitch!
Oh, I've seen... There's like a YouTube video. You should find it where there's a reporter that's just following him, trying to get him to say, yo, bitch. And it's the most aggravating thing. And all I can think of is, this happens to him everywhere he goes.
Yeah.
Everywhere he goes.
What he needs to do is he needs to go to Henry Winkler and say, how did you get over everybody going, hey?
Well, I'm sure Henry's free, so...
Yeah, I'm sure he's not doing anything, so he could take that call.
I mean, unless he's doing an Adam Sandler movie sometime soon, I think he's open.
All right, guys. Well, of these three films, Single Mothers Club, Art of the Steal, and Need for Speed, which one are you guys most likely to head out to theaters and check out? Scotty?
Need for Speed.
Aaron?
Oh, damn it.
Oh, Aaron Paul versus Kurt Russell.
You son of a...
Shit.
It's not between those two.
Quaid in it.
The Single
like,
Mothers...
If Single Mom Club had
Dennis
Quaid in
Quaid's Single Mothers Club.
Gosh.
Oh.
You'd be like, I'm going to go see a Medea movie.
I'm going to have to go with Need for Speed because that's a theater kind of movie.
I can't wait to call up Kurt Russell or tweet him and be like...
Well, he's not taking my tweets, so maybe you'll get through.
I think you got blocked.
I've got a restraining order, apparently.
Let's make it then a clean sweep.
We can call it a hat trick. There's only three of us.
Oh, there you go.
A hat trick. There you go.
Okay, well, you can listen and subscribe on iTunes or Stitcher Radio app. Give us a thumbs up if you do, or through our RSS feed at thehollywoodoutsiders.com. There is a new episode every Thursday, and we do appreciate when you go to iTunes and put reviews on there. That helps boost us up, so we do appreciate that. Hint, hint, please go do that right now. And we want 5-star. Please don't do 1-star. That's just mean. And Justin's trying to be more positive.
Yes.
Don't make him upset.
Be honest. I mean,
No, lie. 5 stars. We're cool with it. We can sleep it off.
What's this movie?
What's this movie? Each week we play ours where our listeners suggest a clip from a movie. And if you think you know what the clip is, email us at feedback@thehollywoodoutsiders.com. And next week we'll give you a proper ho shout out. Okay, and last week's guest was Brian's choice, and it was Train Spotting. And those that got it correct: Sean McDonald, Austin Price, Craig Schermerhorn, Jacob Ba, Pablo Meza, Zach Parkerson, Sean McGuire. Congratulations, guys. This week it is Justin's turn. If you think you know what it is, email us at feedback@thehollywoodoutsiders.com. Get it correct, and we will mention you on the show next week. Here's your clip.
This is when you say hi, Molly.
Who are you?
She's Molly.
Why is she here?
She came with me.
Did you hit her car or something?
Jesus, no, but thank you for asking.
Are you a social worker?
Nope.
Oh, shit, are we being evicted?
No.
Are you a hooker?
Dylan.
Or a prostitute, I mean?
Oh, my God.
No, Kirk and I were having dinner the other night, and he said he was getting together with his family, and it's been a while since I had a family dinner, so, I don't know, I hope you guys don't mind. I just invited myself along.
Well, come on in for a dip, girl.
Yeah.
Oh, no. You know what? I don't even have a bathing suit.
Fucking wear your underwear.
Yeah.
It's just like a bikini. It covers all the good shit.
Yeah, underwear is fine.
Run!
It's like what they did in the old days.
Underwear would be fine. If I were wearing any.
All right, now let's go to the couch where we talk about TV and home video news. Now, Matthew McConaughey He confirmed he will not be back for True Detective Season 2, and the creators stated they are going to do it as kind of a different pair of detectives every season, kind of in the same vein as American Horror Story, where they might have an actor come back or something, but generally they have all new characters and a different storyline each season. Is this a good trend for TV to take, Justin?
Yeah, I mean, I really like that idea. Sometimes when you've got a couple of good actors working together, they develop a great chemistry, and you want to see them season after season. But in a show like True Detectives, which really tells its story in an unconventional way, I like that they're going to break the mold and tell their seasons in an unconventional way. The fact that they're going to get new detectives, new cases that they're working on is going to keep the show much more fresh, I think, than if it was two guys just working a new case every season. I think that can get a little old after a while. I love what American Horror Story did with their seasons. They bring back a lot of the actors and actresses from the past seasons, but they give them entirely new roles. Some who are good or bad, some who are bad or good, some stay the same, but you never quite know what you're going to get. And I like that idea that they might go from place to place and bring in new detectives, and it's always something new and fresh and interesting.
I love this idea as well. Like you said, keeping it fresh. It's what The Killing should have done. Instead of going on to that second season and leaving a big cliffhanger about, wrap up that season, give me some satisfaction, bring it back, doing the same formula with different actors, keep it interesting. I'm all over it. I think it sounds really cool.
And it also, I think, addresses something that always bothered me about anthologies. Tales from the Crypt is one that I think might have got it right more than got it wrong. Mm-hmm. But overall, most series like that where outside of the Twilight Zone just didn't work for me because you had different actors and different storylines every week or whatever. But taking it and doing it over an entire season so you actually have something to invest in and then wrapping that up, you don't have cliffhangers, you don't have anything else. You're coming back because I want to see another season of whatever the story is that they come up with. I can really get behind that.
The only thing I would like to see in another True Detective season is some familiarity. I like how with American Horror Story they have a completely different completely different story, completely different characters.
But you have similar actors, yeah.
Right? And I'm not saying to do that formula, but maybe bring back some of the characters and just use different actors for the main characters or something. Mm-hmm. Something to make you realize that you're watching a True Detective show.
That makes sense. Well, we'll see what happens. That'll be interesting how they go forward with that. Mm-hmm. Let's go to DVD and Blu-ray, Scott.
Okay, we've got 2 release dates again this week. I know Justin loves it when that happens, but we've got March 7th is the release of Hunger Games: Catching Fire.
What day of the week is that?
It's a Friday.
It's a Friday.
Yep.
All right, wait for it.
He already sighed.
Okay. Fucking hate that shit.
I know, you might have to leave your house on a weekend.
First world problem. He's not leaving his house. He's getting on iTunes anyway.
Do you know how long it's been since I've actually bought a Blu-ray? Months.
You mean left your house?
I do all my shit on digital now.
Anyway, if you haven't heard of Hunger Games, don't know what that series is, you probably haven't listened to the show.
You're an idiot. Just kidding.
Whoa.
Just kidding.
Easy.
This is one of the higher reviewed movies by all 4 of us, actually. We talked about it on episode 120. Justin gave it a 950. So did Brian. So did I. And Aaron gave it an 850.
Hater.
Yeah, he hates it with an 850.
Troll.
Fuck that movie.
On episode 121, Aaron reviewed Homefront. This is about a former DEA agent who moves his family to a quiet town where he soon tangles with a local meth drug lord. That's the one that had, it was Jason Statham and
James Franco.
James,
give me the check, Franco.
And Aaron enjoyed it, but...
I thought it was kind of fun. Yeah, it's dumb, but it's
Give
fun.
it a 650.
Kind of like Nonstop. Check your brain, take it out of the helmet. Just leave it at the
James Franco's a badass.
Yeah, neither could I. Neither could Jason Statham, honestly, when they fight.
Next one none of us saw, but The Book Thief. While subjected to the horrors of World War II Germany, young Liesel finds solace by stealing books and sharing them with others. Under the stairs in her home, a Jewish refugee is being sheltered by her adoptive parents. Jeffrey Rush is in that one, and I've actually heard good things about the book, but I have not read it, nor have I seen the film. Next up is Inside Llewyn Davis, a week in the life of a young singer as he navigates the Greenwich Village folk scene of 1961. A lot of people are excited about that one. I didn't have a whole lot of interest.
I actually got a lot more interested when I heard that he actually did all his own singing and playing.
Oh, yeah?
I like it when actors are able to bring that to the table as opposed to just lip syncing and play acting and the role.
In Out of the Furnace, Rodney Bays mysteriously disappears, and law enforcement doesn't follow through fast enough. His older brother Russell takes matters into his own hands to find justice. Aaron gave it a $5 out of 10 on episode 122.
It was so predictable.
Really, that
just
bad,
so
huh?
predictable. There's some good performances. Christian Bale is the star, and Woody Harrelson's really good in it, and it's just kind of predictable.
Yeah, just
it's
kind of
not even a rental.
cookie cutter movie.
I wouldn't watch it again.
And lastly, we've got Broken Circle Breakdown. The premise of this is about Elise and Didier, who fall in love at first sight in spite of their differences. He talks, she listens. He's a romantic atheist. She's a religious realist. Sounds like a match made in heaven. When their daughter becomes seriously ill, their love is put on trial. Brian and Aaron both reviewed this one on episode 119, where Brian gave it a 7, and Aaron gave it a 7 as well.
It's not a fun movie at all.
I forgot all about that from the title. I thought it was some kind of dancing movie.
There's a lot of
circle break now.
The music is great in it. The music that's in it is great. It is, I think it's Danish, so it is subtitled, but it's a really good movie. Really good movie.
Ooh, yeah. Hit me with that unknown shit. Flashback.
And with that, we'll move on to our flashback segment. This is where once every other week or so, one of us hosts brings to the table a little-known or obscure film that we'd like our listeners, as well as the other hosts at the table, to give a chance to. This week it is Justin's turn. Justin, what do you have for us?
This weekend, I was looking for a good comedy to watch on a Saturday night, and as I was looking through Netflix, I happened to see that a film that a lot of people had recommended to me, especially my brother, was available. And hell, it's Netflix. It's free. It's HD. Let's go for it. And that film was A Good Old-Fashioned Orgy. This one stars Jason Sudeikis, who people may remember from Saturday Night Live, Hall Pass, We're the Millers. The guy's freaking hysterical. I mean, he's one of those guys that I think I hate to use that old cliche of read the phone book, but I almost think he could make somehow the phone book funny. Cannot get over how funny he is. A very low concept film. I mean, it's very simple to get. It's just a group of 30-year-olds who've been best friends since high school attempt to throw one last bash before the home that Jason Sudeikis' character's parents own sell it. But the last bash party they're going to do is an orgy. Hence the title, A Good Old-Fashioned Orgy. I laughed almost literally beginning to end. There is nothing about this movie not funny. Everyone in it is great. And at the end, when you think they're really not going to do it, they do it, and it's still funny. It's very light, very breezy, but it is hysterical. If you can watch this with a straight face and not laugh once, I would have to check your pulse. You're human.
I actually saw this movie as well, and I pretty much echo exactly what Justin said. It's really funny, and if you're squeamish about the sexuality aspect of it, it's not real graphic or anything like that. But it is genuinely funny. Some of the best one-liners in an obscure movie I've seen in a long time.
We also had Scott Calgaro send a message. He wanted us to mention a flashback. Said, "Hey hoes, hitting you with some unknown flashback shit." I get it. You got your little thing there.
Isn't it Calgaro?
Well, whatever. Farewell.
Scotty correct us?
Yeah.
Farewell. Is it Calgaro? Or
It's Calgaro.
Yeah, I had it right the first time. Then you got me all fucked up. Now I can't get right again. Jesus. Thanks for listening, though. We appreciate it. Farewell to the King is just about the only movie Nick Nolte has done that he.
Is he actually typed that?
I don't think so. Farewell to the King is just about the only movie. I'm going to leave that in just so you guys can see how stupid I sound sometimes.
See how the sausage is made.
It's just about the only movie Nick Nolte has done that he didn't either A, play an alcoholic dirtbag, i.e. play himself, or B, suck. It's also a different take on a World War II movie. Very few of them have been done in the Pacific Theater, and no others I'm aware of take place in Borneo.
Jesus.
I saw it as, I'm reading on a very small device. I saw it as a kind of a reverse Apocalypse Now or Heart of Darkness. Loser goes into the jungle and becomes a better man. If any of you have seen it, I'd love a review. I have not. Farewell to the King. Oh, wait, no, I did. I think that's a few years ago, but I honestly don't remember it. One of us will try to check it out, but we'll make sure it's Scott because Justin and I probably won't do it. So let's go to our From the Outside In topic. This was actually Brian's because he won the Oscar contest. He actually got to pick whatever topic he wanted, and then he left us to deal with it. So here's your topic, Brian. I don't even know if he actually will listen to this show because, it's probably
not
not.
it.
Yeah, well.
Well, then again, he wasn't in this one, so maybe it'll be one of the rare ones he does download and listen to.
That's true. As we talked about earlier, there is a lot of talk about another Matrix trilogy. Whether or not it happens, that's moot. Which got us thinking, what other franchises could benefit from another chapter? So we all know some people perceive the new Star Wars trilogy, or for some, those additions tarnish the memory of the original. Is it ultimately worth it to add to a franchise like this?
I think it is. If we let our fear of the unknown rule us, then we wouldn't do anything new or interesting. Is it going to work every time? No. But when it, if it works and it works really well, then it was all worth it. You have to take some risks when it comes to making art and making entertainment. So, yeah, I mean, what are you going to do? Are you just going to let all the haters dictate what's going to get done? Oh, that's too precious to me. You can't do it. You have to, man up and say, all right, we're going to do this, and let's try and make the best one we can.
I'm for it as well. I think people hold on to older movies as the best thing that was ever made too much. Mm-hmm. When I think I'm of the belief that they were the best movies for their era, and they don't work as well for modern audiences. And that's not just the easy answer for that people give is, oh, well, just people are dumber today, which they might be. But I don't think it's fair to say that because their tastes differ because they live in a different time period. You know what I'm saying? So I think
not really, but I'll stay with you. Go ahead.
There's several generations of people who should still be able to enjoy those properties, but would have a modern addition to fit into their era. I'm going to give you an example, and bear with me.
We're not talking remakes. We're talking.
No, I know.
Okay,
like additions to it. I mean, not necessarily, but like to further on the story. To number one, get them interested in the franchise and get them to go back and watch the other one. You sit down and show someone tell them you got to watch this older movie from 30, 40 years ago, and they have no attachment to the property whatsoever. It's hard. It's a hard sell. You give them a version of it now, get them to watch it with modern technology and modern pacing and that kind of thing, and then you say, okay, now go watch the one that it was based on, or not based on, but part of the original story,
sprung from,
right? Or that it, yeah. I recently watched the original Star Wars like a couple of weeks ago. Mm-hmm. Love the Star Wars movies. Don't get me wrong, but it's one of those that I watched and I went, I could understand how someone that knows nothing about the Star Wars universe would watch that movie and be kind of bored for part of it. Mm-hmm. It has some pacing stuff that people that are used to the pacing of current movies. It's just not going to be the same.
You mean ADD people?
Not necessarily even ADD. It has nothing to do with. In some cases, yes, it has to do with people's lack of focus.
It is a very slow burn. Like the first movie it takes a good hour before things start going.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
and plus some of the props just look like props.
It doesn't hold up as well as people think it does.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, like you said, doing an addition to your house, you don't have to do a reboot. I would never say to reboot or restart the Star Wars franchise. But like the idea of doing an episode 7, get more people to see it. Younger generations that their only attachment to it is either the prequel trilogies, which Star Wars fans aren't as huge of fans of because they say they're not holding true to the original. But
I think,
watch that.
You know what I will say to that? I think people that those were their first experiences actually like those movies.
Mm-hmm.
I've heard a lot of evidence to that as well.
So it's one of those things where I didn't like them at all. I mean, I liked the third one, but episode 3, I didn't like the other 2. But my kids love the new trilogy. Mm-hmm. They don't really get into as much the older trilogy because it's older. It's not really meant for them. I mean, it's not adapted, like you said, to their current time.
Well, and they might not have grown up with it either.
Oh, no, they grew up with it. But unfortunately, I'm their dad. But
you're going to sit and like it.
Yeah, you're going to sit, you're going to watch it, and you're going to like it. And if you don't like it, we'll keep watching it until you agree. It's kind of like, eat your peas.
Yeah.
So, but
you're equating Star Wars to peas.
I sure am. And
son of a bitch.
The current ones are more their speed. Mm-hmm. They're flashy. They're whiz bang effects and apparently some really bad acting and kids like that apparently. So, there's a lot of that. It works for them. I get it. And what I will say to it is I am fine with them if they're adding to. I don't like all the remakes. I'm sick of the remakes. I think it's great if they expand on a universe. Give me something different. Take me somewhere new. Give me a little bit of a backstory, as long as you're not totally spoiling things. I didn't need to know, how Darth Vader came to be. It's just not something I really cared about. I kind of liked having a character that was just there. You know what I mean? That was already at that apex. You don't need to know everything in the history. And obviously, for me personally, it didn't work out anyway. So I'm one, if you can add to it and really, you have a story already hatched out, and this is going to be a fantastic trilogy, or just one movie that's going to add to that level, I'm fine with it. Just don't do it just to cash in, which is what most of them do, unfortunately. But what are you going to do? And sometimes it's just for vanity, I think. Like an actor, think of The Two Jakes as a prime example, which is a movie you probably never even heard of, Scott. Justin, I hope you have. But
yes.
Chinatown is one of the greatest films in history. If you haven't seen it, it has one of the best film twists you'll ever see if you don't know about it going in. It's fucked up. And
isn't Kevin Spacey Kaiser Soze?
Shh. Damn it. All right. It's along those lines. It is a huge film twist. And they decided to revisit it with a sequel I think it was like 22 years later. Because Chinatown was from the 70s. Jack Nicholson, it's a noir kind of film. They revisited it. Absolutely no reason. There's no reason to go back to that other than the fact that the actor loved that role, so they're going to make a new movie. And that movie was just bad. And it's one of those things.
The other one? You mean
the new one? The newer one, which isn't newer now. It's still pretty old.
Well,
yeah. But to revisit that was ridiculous, and it was all about the actor's vanity. It's all about Jack Nicholson's pet project. I want to revisit one of my most famous characters, but it didn't add to anything. And it, in fact, dilutes the original movie. Because now, if you've seen Two Drakes, it's hard to watch the other one without remembering that piece of shit. So it's just, things like that. If they know what they're doing going in, I'm all for it. So think of it, and this is actually Brian's words, which makes sense when I read it to you. Think of it like doing an addition to your house. The old one is still part of it, but we're going to add something new. What franchise comes to your mind, and how would you go about it?
For me, the first one that came to my mind was Back to the Future. You guys all know I love that trilogy.
Yeah, you mention it every topic we have.
Well, I mean, it's I do. I don't want to always come back to it, but when you have that aspect of time travel, the possibilities are endless. Obviously, we're not going to have the same characters necessarily, Emmett Brown and Marty McFly and all that kind of stuff. But there's Doc Brown invented it. I would love to see a story expanded where someone stumbles across, his lab and all of his research, and then rebuilds another time machine out of another vehicle. It still has the flux capacitor and all this kind of stuff. That, yeah. It does it out of a different car instead of a DeLorean, something.
No. Well, shit. See, that's my natural reaction is to say no, it has to be a DeLorean, but fuck that. No, it doesn't.
Yeah, that was the cool car back in the 80s. I'm not saying doing that out of like the brand new Mustang or anything, but something that's like quirky, like the.
Yeah, you gotta have something modern.
Yeah. Oh, like a smart car.
like a pre.
I don't think that would get up to 88 miles an hour. So.
10 miles of just downhill.
We can only time travel if we can find a hill big enough. I just think there's lots of possibilities there. I want to be more in that universe and dealing with the time paradoxes and people being, seeing them when they're younger and older, that kind of thing. I like that whole concept. Do you want me to keep going with others? I had one other one, Toy Story. That ended pretty...
That's actually on my list. I swear to God, it's on my list.
I think Toy Story ended really well with the third film. Very satisfying ending with a little bit of ambiguity. Is that old enough that I can talk about the ending? Yeah, I would say, yeah. The new toys are owned by a new owner, so they're kind of like starting a whole new life and that kind of thing. You could just keep going with that. And that's one that you guys hear me always talk about how like the novelty is gone, after the first film. I think that is one that you could just keep going very easily. So many cool stories. And why not? You just don't have
actually, the idea that I had is you take the toys and you actually come up with new toys, different toys. They don't have to be the same toys. Let Woody and Buzz whatever, live out their twilight years, being abused by some other kid. And you go off with different toys, very similar. There's so many toys from our childhoods. Go to more recent ones.
Star Wars toys.
There you go. They could get Star Wars toys in it because Disney owns that shit now.
And that would be a very
My
awesome
idea was
possibility.
make like a caper. Like you've got like an Ocean's 11 but with toys.
Oh, that's a really cool idea.
I just think that could be kind of fun and different.
And shouting, "Where's the van?"
Exactly.
I do like the idea of it being a Toy Story, but with actual toys.
Yeah, with actual toys, because there's so many that they could do, and Disney owns all of them at this point. I mean, they own Marvel, they own Star Wars, they own. Just think of the possibilities of what they could do with that.
Mm-hmm.
I think
You'd
that
almost
could
have
be
to call that
fantastic.
something different, though, because I think part of the charm of Toy Story was that none of the toys were real.
No, they had a lot of real toys in there.
Oh, that's true. They did.
had a lot of
Yeah,
real toys in there.
the Slinky Dog and the
Speak and Spell.
Speak and Spell.
Speak and
That was
Spell.
real.
But
Creepy
most of their toys were from the 50s and 60s
Right,
or whatever.
right.
Make it more modern, 80s, 90s. I mean,
Yeah.
modern day adults that were kids at that time.
I love
I
that
think that
idea.
could be really fun.
That's all I got. What about you, Justin?
Well, yesterday, since my wife's out of town, usually when she goes out of town for a business trip, I'll stack up some movies and go through it and watch them back to back. And last night, I watched Kill Bill Volumes 1 and 2 back to back.
Oh, yeah.
Thoroughly enjoying one of the best 4 hours of movie watching you can have. But when this topic came up, I thought, well, why don't they do a Kill Bill Volume 3 set in our, appropriate time difference from the first film, which came out in 2004. Now it's 10 years or so later. Maybe do it 10 or 15 years later and call it Nikki's Revenge.
Yeah, they had talked about that. Tarantino had talked about that when the original came out.
The little girl?
Yeah, about the little girl.
The daughter. I would love to see, where the film opens up with Beatrix, who is the bride, coming home from grocery shopping, and she opens that front door to find that her house is a complete wreck with, shelves overturned and furniture shredded and blood sprays. And she starts calling for her daughter, Bibi. And when she runs into the girl's room, she just finds scrawled in blood on the wall, "You killed my mother. Now I have your daughter." And then in an instant, Beatrix realizes that Vanetta Green's daughter, Copperhead, has come to get that revenge that even Beatrix said, if you still feel raw about it when you're older, come and see me. Well, now she's coming home to, take her revenge on not only on Beatrix, but now on her daughter as well. And I think that'd be a real fun film to see Uma Thurman get back into that role, because after rewatching it, it's just so goddamn fun. Those movies were a blast from beginning to end.
Mm-hmm.
I like that idea. I like it better if Beatrix loses at the end.
Oh yeah. I almost wouldn't mind having it to where Bibi is an assassin, but
yeah, there you go.
Well, but Beatrix seemed so, over that aspect of her life by the end of that film that I don't know if she would actually raise Bibi to be one. But her father was an assassin, her mother's an assassin. Maybe it's just one of those things that runs in the blood, and she teaches her, all the things that she learned, just for defense. I don't know. There's so many different ways you can go with it, but I would love to see that, little element from the first film now coming, as Aaron would say, to fruition and a Kill Bill Volume 3. I think that'd be a lot of fun.
I like that. You got any
The only
others?
other two that came to mind, and I really don't have anything long form for them. One is I'd love another Hellboy. Yeah, and I would actually like a Hellboy that deals with hell. The first film, it was kind of this Cthulhu kind of space monster that they were trying to stop Rasputin from bringing to Earth. And in the second one, it was almost like a fairy tale. Let's get Hellboy some hell. Let's get some good demons in there, some devils or something going on. And I wouldn't mind it if they resurrected Willow, and brought a new story on that. I know Chris Claremont and George Lucas had actually written 3 books that followed up the film, but you don't have to go with those books at all. Those aren't, perhaps canon. Make a whole new film, but in a day of the CG effects that you can get in a Lord of the Rings and Hobbit kind of movie, to me, a new Willow is kind of a natural idea.
I think if the movie had been successful when it came out, I bet you that would have happened by now.
Probably.
It's one of those movies where, Val Kilmer just didn't work, apparently. Didn't sell.
I loved his Mad Mardigan.
Oh, he was great, but unfortunately, he just did one of those movies that didn't make... Isn't Warwick Davis still around?
Yep.
Is he still acting?
Yep.
He's probably in an Ewok costume at a convention right now somewhere.
No, I know he was doing a TV show with...
Or a leprechaun.
Oh, no, who was the guy who did the British Office?
Ricky Gervais?
Yeah, he was doing a show with Ricky Gervais
Oh.
for a little while.
Are they still doing leprechaun movies?
I think they're going to maybe reboot those.
Oh, Leprechaun in the Streets or in the Hood.
In the
whatever it
Hood.
was, yeah.
Back to the Hood.
I want an updated Escape from New York, but not with Snake Plissken. I actually would like something in that world because I've always thought that was a really unique premise to have an entire major metropolitan city become a prison. I think there's different kinds of movies you can make in that universe. I'd like to see that. Harry Potter's a big one. I love the world that was created. I thought, it went on a little too long, but I really love the world. And what I would like to do, actually the movies that I would envision have nothing to do with Harry Potter himself. It would be more of a prequel explaining how Hogwarts came to be. Maybe you can get the full story of Voldemort in there and leading up and stopping right at Harry's parents' murder. I think that might be an interesting thing to do. Because that is one of the characters that I feel like, unlike Darth Vader, where I just feel he's kind of... Darth Vader, I feel, is one of those characters I don't need that backstory. Voldemort always felt a little underserved, at least from the movies, because I didn't read all the books. So I never really got a good sense of who he was and why he was the way he was. You know what I mean? So that I would actually be interested in. Silence of the Lambs, I would like something following Clarice Starling without Hannibal Lecter. Just kind of like, yeah, she can make that maybe when she's dating. But I would like a series of thrillers.
Some
where
guy gets a little... Oh, forget it. I was going to make a real bad joke.
Well, think about it, because she's an excellent profiler and everything else. I would love to see her actually crack cases as she became more and more established. I think that would make a good series of films. And
You know who should play her?
Who's that?
Amber Heard.
Oh, Lord have mercy.
No, let's go ahead and give it to Jennifer Lawrence.
Let's go ahead. She should be in everything.
That's right.
But Amber Heard, I don't know if she's got the...
She's too pretty.
I don't know if she has the
she?
range. I don't know if she has the range, man. Just from 3 Days to Kill, as cheesy as she was in there, and she wasn't trying to be, I just don't know. But it's maybe. Last thing, I would really like to see a series of Scream movies, like a new set of Scream movies.
I thought about that.
Because that's one of those things where I always like the blend of self-aware horror that those movies do. But obviously, I don't want to go back to Sydney Bristow, to Sydney and Gale Weathers and all. Those characters are done. The story's done. I want something new with that kind of horror, because they made horror fun, which it hasn't been in a long time. You know what I mean? Where a movie, yes, there's some scary parts, but it was fun. It was fun waiting to see who was going to die and who the killers were and all that stuff. And they don't really do that kind of horror anymore.
Right.
I like that. You guys want to hear what some of our listeners thought?
Mm-hmm.
Sure you do. All right. Well, Sean McGuire said something from the Dune universe.
Oh, yes.
Would you like that?
Oh, very much.
Why? Explain
Well,
why.
I love Dune. And not that I really cared much for the original film. I think that the sci-fi movies that they did based on Dune, and then Dune Messiah and Children of Dune, were pretty good. They could have been better. They could have been a hell of a lot worse. And there are so many stories written in the Dune universe, but either from Frank Herbert, who wrote the original, or his son Brian Herbert and Kevin Anderson, who have continued on the Dune universe with all. I think they've written like a dozen books at least by now in the Dune universe. There is so much story that could be told, and I love that universe.
Well, you're going to love this next one. Josh Steinma,
Nice.
Blade, but keep Wesley.
Yes.
Also, the Hellboy franchise needs another film. It's almost like, did you write this for him?
Of course I did.
I think so. Jason Taylor says Highlander and Cube, not the Cube, just
Highlander.
Cube.
Oh, Cube would be good.
Yeah, they'd both be good. I mean, Cube you could do, movie after movie.
You
in that
could,
universe.
and those ones after that first one were just so bad. I would love to see one of those movies with some money put into it.
It needs a remake. They just need to start over from scratch on
You could take that to a different different storyline. You don't have to have a reboot.
I don't want anything to do with aliens, other planets, none of that shit. I just want what we had in Highlander.
Mm-hmm.
I don't need the rest of the films. I just want Highlander.
So for you, it can only be one. That's what you're saying.
Well, if they stay away from that other... yeah. Well, basically, if your story is about only one person survives and can be the chosen or whatever to the quickening, then yeah, there are no more movies. You're done.
Wow, easy.
And that's okay, Hollywood. That's okay.
Easy. Scott
Just
Calgaro
make one.
/ Calgaro says, as much as I liked World War Z, I'd like to see it redone more in line with the book as an anthology of stories told by survivors of the zombie apocalypse. I also think a fabulous reboot of both Highlander and Alien franchises are overdue.
I don't know, man. That first Alien movie still works.
Yeah, those still work. I think you can continue the series, but just with a whole new person.
And not with Predators.
No, not with Predators.
Just
What about I actually would like to see the World War Z
Yeah.
told that way, but I don't know how you would do it as a movie.
Not in one movie where you're going to just do a bunch of people talking. No.
Yeah, it's a TV series. I mean, you could do that. I think I call it Walking Dead. So,
I was actually, for a second, I was like, oh yeah, that would be a good show. Oh yeah, Walking Dead.
yeah, Walking Dead did it. David McGrath, bring back the Ghostbusters. Moment of silence for the great Harold Ramis, please.
I agree with that one.
We've been waiting forever. I don't think it's ever going to happen.
Dan Aykroyd's still determined to make this thing happen, so we'll see. Oh, he also says give The Punisher another shot, although I think it might be more suited to HBO or Netflix.
Mm-hmm.
Also, give the franchises that never were another chance, such as Buckaroo Banzai, Master and Commander, and The Phantom. The Billy Zane Phantom?
Oh my God. What was the call phrase for that movie?
Fucking sucks. That's what
Punch Evil or something?
That's so stupid.
Something.
I'm sorry, man. Purple tights just do not do it for me. I've tried.
Not anymore.
Yeah, it works on a comic book page. It does not work up on the screen.
I did like Buckaroo Banzai, though.
I don't know what that is.
No, it's an 80s movie.
Peter Weller movie from way back.
Yep, that was Peter Weller's era, which was the 80s.
That movie made no fucking sense.
Nope, but it was fun. I don't know why. It was fun. David Billups Jr. I feel that Ghostbusters could continue on with a younger Ghostbusting team and Bill Murray as CEO of Ghostbusters, Inc. Of course, Bill would strap on the proton pack for the grand finale of the film. Ooh, I like that.
I really like that idea a lot.
I like that. I wonder
Now that they should fight Bill Murray's ghost.
No, I think CEO. I like that better because then he's part of the action. You could superimpose Harold Ramis as a ghost, I guess.
See, I think the struggle with that, it would be making it a comedy still, because that needs to be a comedy, not like an action ghost-busting
Oh,
movie.
yeah, you could easily make that a comedy. I think.
Somebody saw a cockroach up on the 12th floor. It's some cockroach.
It's a big cockroach.
That's a big
That's a
Wake
big
that up,
Twinkie.
man.
That's a big Twinkie. I would also love to see a Blade reboot, but recasting Wesley Snipes, you would need a younger actor to start, if only because vampires don't age and half vamps age very slowly. I'm going to wait and reserve judgment on that because The Expendables 3 comes out this year, and if Wesley looks as badass as I'm hoping he will, I might say no, just throw another Blade movie his way.
Michael Jai White could do it.
Yeah, but I like Wesley. He's just got more.
I love Wesley, yeah.
He's the most arrogant man ever to don those shades. Jonathan Spear, I'd prefer none. I want to see some new original franchises in the theater. That said, I agree with David. A Punisher HBO series could be amazing. They could even keep Thomas Jane. I agree with you. And make the series more like his short...
Thomas Jane agrees with you.
Yeah, he does. That's why he made that short Dirty Laundry.
Oh, that was so good.
It was. An AMC or HBO series would be awesome for Hellboy and Blade as well. That's a good point. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I think they tried the series route for Blade, and it didn't work out.
It was it was a good series, too.
It was decent.
Damn it.
It was decent.
I really, really enjoyed it. I actually have the DVD set of that first season.
I watched the first couple. It's hard because it's not Wesley. It's really
no,
not.
I locked on more to Jill Wagner.
All right, fair enough. Douglas Clayton, I much prefer original films. However, Back to the Future, maybe Marty's Kids, Scott, Dark Tower, the HBO treatment without Howard, Ninja Scroll, just awesome. Speed Racer, very underrated film.
Yes.
Firefly, oh Lord, more Wachowski love. Firefly, more movies, please. Mad Max.
People, I love Firefly.
Let it go.
But let's all just get over it.
Hey, you shut
we
up.
We are never
positivity
ever,
guy. Hey, positivity guy.
I cannot
let them have
my
their
part
dreams.
Cut anymore.
Let them have their dreams. Let them have
Plus, that wrapped up pretty nicely, didn't it? I mean,
hey, I don't want another one, but if other people do, let them have. Hey,
I would be first in line for the tickets, but I am done.
No,
I don't.
I think I would call Nathan myself and say, please do not give Macumber a ticket. Yeah, I said Nathan. Do not give Macumber a ticket because he's poo-pooing all the people trying to keep these dreams alive.
It's done. We need to close the door on
Mad
this.
Max, we need another hero. Nice job.
Friday. I need a hero. No, dumbass.
No, it's the Tina Turner song.
We need another hero.
It's a Tina Turner song.
Guess maybe I should watch that movie.
Friday the 13th. Yeah, before. Jesus. Friday the 13th, Ultimate Guidance Counselor. I like it. Super 8, lots more to say. Iron Giant, would love to see what else they come up with. Just kidding on Friday the 13th. Hey, kiss my ass, man. I want to see that movie. I want to see Jason as a guidance counselor. It'd be like Meatballs, but with more machete. Michael got 2 left. Michael Brunel, Conan by Crom. And this time we need to write a director that loves Robert Howard's. Is that how you say his name? Work?
Howard.
Well, he didn't have an R, so he said Howard. Howard the Duck. Work the way Peter Jackson loves Tolkien. I was fine with Jason Momoa. I thought Momoa did a great job, actually.
I did too.
But they did not get the feel of Howard's World or Conan. Conan would never have pined over the death of his father. I am down with Arnold doing a King Conan movie, but he needs to dye his hair black. He wrote dye as in die, like die. So I don't know if you're secretly saying you want Conan to die or... But I see what you're doing. I would really prefer a reboot to the reboot, and this time do it justice. The scale of that world and breadth of story is ripe for a franchise. And Paul Hanahan, he didn't like the Mad Max suggestion. That movie is perfect as it is. Give me Howard the Duck and Critters, Wonder Woman, and Big Trouble in Little China 2.
Well, we'll see about Mad Max, because they're filming that right now.
They are. Now let's go back to his Big Trouble in Little China 2, because that would have Kurt fucking Russell. We are now full circle, people.
But shouldn't there be Little Trouble in some other location?
No, there's wherever Kurt Russell is in Little Whatever. That's what it should be called.
Big Trouble in Little Italy? Instead of a glowing-eyed Chinese guy, there's some mafia dudes. Hey, what you doing over there? Sorry, that's my terrible.
That is awful. But not as
not as bad as your McConaughey.
Yeah, it's not. Speaking of McConaughey, let's talk about the Oscars. All right. The big winners, Best Picture, and rightfully so, in my opinion, 12 Years a Slave. Best Actor, Matthew McConaughey himself, who did get in his all right. And honestly had, I think, the best speech. I don't know if you guys saw it, because I know not all of you are Oscar lovers, since Brian bailed on me and left me with a bunch of bitches that don't like quality television. I digress. Best Actress, Cate Blanchett. Best Director, Alfonso Cuarón for Gravity. Best Supporting Actress, Lupita Nyong'o. I'm totally making that Chinese for no reason whatsoever.
I've heard her speech was fantastic.
It was
very heartwarming. She did a great job, both in the movie and on stage. She seemed very genuine. Best Supporting Actor, Jared Leto. Same thing. Very genuine. Seems very sincere. Even plugged his band while he's up there.
I heard he looked like Jesus.
He looked just like Buddy Jesus from
Buddy
Dogma.
Christ.
Yeah, from Buddy Christ from Dogma. Look on our Facebook page. You'll see a wonderful comparison. I think it's genius.
Gravity won a lot of Oscars.
All technical stuff.
Yeah.
Didn't win. One score. The score was beautiful. It's a great movie.
Mm-hmm.
They got Best Director. It's not bad.
It did. And you could see Steve McQueen, who directed 12 Years a Slave. He got a little angry right there.
He should be.
One thing I noticed.
He got angry, really?
Alfonso Cuarón directed one chick and a green screen. I don't know if that's good enough.
I don't know, man, because the technical marvel. I mean, you're basically you created an entire world out of and a performance basically in a green screen. Mm-hmm. I think it's impressive. It's technically impressive. They're different kinds of direction.
All that breathtaking.
One directed actor's performances, the other one directed a different kind of film. They both were deserving, I think.
Steve McQueen, if you're going to riot, give me a call.
His reaction when he won was great.
Who's that?
Steve McQueen when he's up on stage after.
When he's jumping around.
He jumped around, jumped high, like he was. He was
saying
super
for a
excited.
big man.
What did he win for? What?
Best Picture.
Best Picture.
They're all winners for Best
That's
Picture.
True.
Yeah. There weren't a lot of... The one thing I will say is this year, there were very, very few surprises. There were not a lot of surprises. In fact, because of our contest, and we had, I think, over 80 entries, something like that, close to 100, whatever it was, there were a lot of people that were really close.
Oh, yeah.
So, good job to all of you. I do want to say, is there anything... Does it make it less interesting to you guys when most of the awards go to the favorites and there are really no upsets? Even though you don't love the show, I mean, does that seem a little...
No, I do like the show. It's
You're boycotting cable or whatever.
Yeah, it's a little bit different. I think it's more important, the idea of it being intriguing or a big question mark. I mean, I want to go to the best actors. I mean, whoever had the best performance. I think what the bigger deal is that there's some kind of politics involved or some. I like to think that there's not something like that going on. But we talked about a story about it last week where the one guy wasn't even on the nomination anymore because he emailed them about listen to my music and
yeah.
I mean that kind of stuff is what bothers me more than whether or not it's a surprise or not. I mean I like the show for the sheer entertainment of it. I thought Ellen was. From what I saw of Ellen was
She was
great.
very good. I mean, there were some parts where, all right, you tried too hard. The lottery ticket thing was really stupid.
The pizza thing?
I like the pizza thing. It started off as, oh, this is bad, and then it got funny.
All I was thinking was when every time there was pizza was this is why people's speeches are getting cut short, so we have time for pizza.
Pizza jokes? Yeah.
So
the photobombing, that was totally to...
the selfie?
Yeah, the selfie was
that
totally...
That picture is great.
It's great, and the purpose was to jump social media. Mm-hmm. They were trying to get the Oscars. Yeah, jump. Like Steve McQueen jump. They were trying to jump social media and get into the younger market, which they successfully did. I mean, I guess they broke Twitter for a little bit. They had 2 million hits, or 2 million retweets, whatever you would call them. I'm sorry. Right. I'm not down with the hip slang.
The previous record was like 700,000 or
something. Yeah, that was Obama. The Oscars beat Obama in a matter of minutes, by the way. That's 750,000 retweets over a year and a half. And this is in a couple minutes it beat it. So that's pretty phenomenal.
The picture was so great. Like, it couldn't have turned out any better.
To watch them do it was even better.
It really was.
That's a real picture. That's a real picture. And Justin, what about you? I know you're not a big fan of it, but do you like it when it's everybody that you expect it to be, or do you want some surprises?
Yeah, I like surprises, and knowing going into it that you are guaranteed at least 2/3 of them are going to be exactly who you think is a lot of the reason why I don't care to watch it. That's not to say that they should start giving awards to undeserving winners just to make it interesting, because that's not fair and that's not fun. There's always going to be those standout movies every year that is going to get the lion's share of the nominations. But I'm a genre guy, and very rarely do movies that sit in the genres that I love go up for nominations. I think what really killed me on the Oscars were the 2 years that The Fellowship of the Ring and The Two Towers were snubbed, and Peter Jackson was snubbed, and they said, oh, we're going to, just wait till the third one. That's when they'll give it to him. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, well, that's fine. But if every one of those years it was the best film, then he should be fucking getting it 3 years in a row. And if I had been the Academy, he would have gotten it 3 years in a row. But because they waited until the last one to do it, just really kind of just soured.
Well, I don't think he deserved it all 3 years.
Do what?
I don't think he deserved it all 3 years. You're just
you're like
fan,
the kind of fan that I am. For me, he did, because those were my favorite movies of the year. But so I'm not a good judge of what was an unemotional pick for Best Picture, because I don't want to go see certain movies in the theater, and usually by the time they come up for Oscars, they're not out yet. luckily this year there have been several that are already out. Blue Jasmine and Dallas Buyers Club and 12 Years a Slave. All of those on Gravity are available, so could be more aware of it. But I'm just, after Golden Globes and SAG Awards and Directors Guild and every other fucking thing, it just seems like there is no industry on earth that loves applauding itself or being applauded more than the Hollywood film industry. And I'm tired of it.
Well, I love the Oscars. And
I know you do, and I'm like...
Well, no, you are poo-pooing it, but the Oscars are the ones that created all those other award shows. All those other ones are basically just offshoots. They're just basically people capitalizing on the Oscars. That's why they were all created, to make money, because the Oscars are so successful. I don't watch any of them except Golden Globes. I really could care less about all the other ones. I don't give a rat's ass. The Oscars are where it stops and ends. The Golden Globes I watch because it's fun, because they drink during the ceremony, and there's a good chance someone is going to fall or make some stupid statement. That's fun to me. The Oscars is more of a classy event to me, and I know we talked about it last year that Seth MacFarlane, you guys kind of liked him, because he was very irreverent and that sort of thing. I didn't like that. I thought it was very classless, in my opinion, because that's not what I want for my Oscars. I'm not saying that that's right. That's just my opinion. Mm-hmm. I thought Ellen DeGeneres, she did exactly what I wanted an Oscar host to do. She didn't sit there and insult the audience. I don't find that fun. Like Justin was talking about earlier, the Razzies. It's the same concept. You basically, some of these hosts get on there and they just spend 10 minutes insulting everybody that's there. You can make jokes and be funny and be creative without insulting every single one of them, and it just gets old. And do I think they self-grandize themselves? Sure, yeah. I mean, yes, they're applauding themselves, but it's also for them a collective of a year's work. I'm sure many of them get exhausted doing all these stupid award shows that they have to do for press and stuff. But it's fun to me. It's fun. It's always an annual tradition. My daughter does it now. My mom did it before me. It's just one of those things where it'll never stop being the most fun. I'd rather watch this than the Super Bowl any year. Any year. So I thought it was a great show. It's one of the better ones. Some people are calling it bland because it was safe. Ellen DeGeneres was safe. I think there's a lot of cynical people out there that just
no matter
want
what
some
you
cynical
do,
shit.
No matter which way they go, there's going to be people complaining about it.
Absolutely.
They could go crass. Some people would say, no, it was too much. They could be completely safe or say, no, they just went too safe and taking any risks. There's no way to make everybody happy.
There's not. And it's really easy to differentiate between the two camps, because the camp that wants like the Seth MacFarlane types are the people that want to make fun of the Oscars. Mm-hmm. Almost universally. Everybody I've talked to that said they liked him or liked him a lot and wanted him to come back and stuff, almost universally are people that like that the Oscars were made fun of so much. Mm-hmm. Because they don't really watch it. They don't really get into it, and they like making fun of it. They're hipsters, whatever. I don't really care about their opinion. I could care less. It's not fun to me. It's not. That is my one show. I don't want somebody just sitting there insulting everybody. Mm-hmm. Golden Globes, do it there. It's fine with me. Just not the Oscars. Mm-hmm. Keep it classy. I'm sorry. I'm fine with that. And if it's a bad thing to say that you enjoy watching someone applaud themselves, then fine. I'm suckered into it.
Do we need 3 hours of Who Are You Wearing?
I don't care about all that crap. All that, the clothes and what they're wearing. I could care less. I don't care about it. I don't watch any of it. As soon as I start watching it, roughly about that half-hour pre-show when they're walking down the aisle, I'll start watching that. But the 9 hours on E and the whatever, no interest. Don't care. Don't care. But we do have Oscar winners, technically. On our show, we've got some Oscar winners, or Oscar contest winners. I'm an Oscar Ho was our contest this year, and our winner, who got them all right, nice job, congratulations. You should probably already know who you are, but Jimmy Orsag. So congratulations. You win either the Blu-ray of your choice, or you can come on the show. I'll be getting in touch with you soon. And here's the deal. Because for second and third place, we actually had a five-way tie. Five-way tie. Because like Justin and we all said, there weren't really any surprises this year. Mm-hmm. So rather than drawing names, and therefore leaving three of you with nothing, we decided we would instead give each of you the choice of either an I'm a Ho t-shirt or mouse pad. So that way all five of you are winners. I think that's fair. Mm-hmm. You guys think that's fair?
Yeah.
All right. Probably one of them don't think it's fair, but it's our contest. So I will be in touch with you. So all 5 of you will get something. Matt Maloney, Deanne, you want to say it?
Chiazez.
Okay. Deanne Chazez, Paul Kim, Preston Nicholson, and Paul Jarnigan. Congratulations, guys. We will be in touch. Now let's go to Facebook and emails. If you like us on Facebook, that's facebook.com/The Hollywood Outsider. We will mention you on next week's show. This past week, we had a few more likes. Tobias Oles, James Jones, Kathy Holt, and Peter West. What?
When did you come from the Midwest? Kathy Holt.
Kathy Holt. You have a lovely name that I cannot say correctly to save my life. Now let's go to emails. Justin.
Well, first up, we got a question from Marcus Shelton. He says, have you guys ever discussed the fact that Brian may be a massive dick?
Yes, we do.
I think we have discussed it pretty much on a weekly basis.
But feel free to email us anytime you want to reiterate what a massive dick he is.
Yeah, please let us know. We also got a tweet from D.A. Cheney. She says, my favorite scene in Day After Tomorrow is when the ship floats down the avenue. Nuts, but great. I wouldn't agree with Independence Day being a disaster flick, more like an invasion flick. But then she shrugs and says, I want to hear what Scott thinks of The Core after he sees it. Scotty, have you seen The Core?
Not yet, but I actually officially added it to my queue. I will be watching it.
There you go.
Brian had a couple, but I'll read them because he bailed. Rob Rowald, I am astounded that no one mentioned Knowing as a disaster movie. It's got a world ending, aliens, and Nick Cage. It's a disaster trifecta.
It's a shit film. That's why I didn't mention it.
Yeah, it is kind of a shit film, but...
Well, you mentioned The Core.
Yeah,
that was a bad example. This one isn't quite as... Oh, nothing beats The Core.
Yeah, it's kind of true. I got to go with him on that. And Junebug, she messaged Brian and purposely on the show. Funny you brought it up on this week's Hollywood Outsider podcast because I literally just started watching Strike Back. So very good. Junebug, I would love to go on with that about you, or go on about that with you. I just need to go to sleep.
I was like, is he Data? Just unwinding.
Unwinding. But Brian is not here, so we reiterated that to him, and he will, maybe he'll bring it up next week if he remembers, you know? Scott?
This one comes from Robert John Davenport. He says, for me, Take Shelter is one of the best disaster movies ever made. The best part is that you never actually see the disaster. This movie is so rich in story and takes you on a painful trip through one man's life and how he handles knowing something impossible is coming. I would say check it out. It's a tough movie, very serious, and makes you want to shake the crap out of someone. We actually did see that one.
Yeah.
Brian and I talked about it a long time ago. That's a really interesting movie. Michael Shannon, interesting movie, definitely worth a watch. Highly recommend it. We also heard from Tammy. She says, can we say that Independence Day is a perfect mix of disaster/invasion, but technically invasion? Right. So she agrees with DA.
She agrees with me that disaster flicks are more natural disasters, whereas aliens invading are more of an invasion.
Yeah, I just want to let you know that as host, when I explain it, we never said natural disaster. So if you're trying to say aliens blowing the shit out of the world is not a disaster flick, I don't know who you are. But hey, everybody's got the right to their opinions. We live in a happy world, Justin. That's what you keep telling me. So let's stay happy, even when you're wrong. You pretentious son of a bitch. I had a nice message from Carl. I'm not going to say his...
calling it?
Yeah, I'm not going to say his last name just because I might insult you in a second. But Carl, we had our Oscar post, and you guys all, 80, almost 100. I think it was actually over 100 when I finally did a final tally. Entries into our Oscar contest this year. His message, and I want to read this, and then I'll explain why it's so funny, and also kind of a dick move, but it's funny. Carl says... He's taking a line from the actual post. Just email us your predictions for the categories below by 6 p.m. Central Standard Time, March 2nd. That was what I wrote in the post, right? Mm-hmm. Obviously, everybody that entered, they're aware of that because they entered just like they were supposed to. Please explain why when the whole world sits down in front of their TV on Sunday, in caps, on Sunday, to watch the red carpet shows and to make their picks and to look for contests to enter to make their experience more fun, you would have a contest that ends on Saturday. Hashtag stupid websites run by stupid people.
It's that hashtag that just shoves a stick up my ass.
Yeah. Hey, Carl. Yeah, that was March 2nd, was Sunday, the day of the Oscars, you dumbass. So the next time you're going to be a dick to people for no reason, you should probably be a little clearer on your facts. I'm just saying.
Or pull your head out of your ass and get your dates right.
Yeah, I don't have time for hipsters, man. I really don't. Yeah, you got to go on there and be mad because you didn't get your ass there on time. Everybody else did. Or that could. There was a couple people that honestly missed it, and they felt bad that they missed it.
Have it going while the Oscars are on.
No, he was saying it was Saturday. Well, Saturday was March 1st.
Right.
So what Carl needs is a calendar.
Stupid emails sent by stupid people. Hashtag.
We need to send Carl a calendar so he can get this correct for next year.
First Kathy, and now calendar. What the fuck?
He is from the Midwest.
I am from the Midwest.
I mean, you almost sound like you're Palin.
Like Sarah Palin?
Yes.
Oh, I can see Russia from my house.
From my house.
Well, you can stay through the credits for outtakes. Go to thehollywoodoutsider.com or tweet us on H_outsider. Our Facebook is facebook.com/thehollywoodoutsider. Leave us a message or text us at 818-814-6426. Email is feedback@thehollywoodoutsider.com. Listen and subscribe for free on iTunes, guys. Listen on your Stitcher Radio app. Give us a thumbs up if you do, and give us a rating on iTunes. That would be great. I'm sure Carl's not going to leave a nice one now. Don't care, jackass.
Fuck him. I'm okay with people being wrong, but don't hashtag it stupid websites run by stupid people.
Exactly. I was actually like, oh, maybe he misunderstood. I felt bad. And then he saw that, and I'm like, kiss my ass.
Yeah, it went from aw to fuck you.
We're doing something out of the kindness of our heart. We don't make money off it, and we're trying to do something nice, and you want to be a hipster douchebag. There's no reason for that. Go back in your cave. That's going to do it for this episode of The Hollywood Outsider. I want to thank Justin and Scotty for being here.
Oh, it's a pleasure to be on here with you, Aaron.
I wish I could say the same, but thanks for having me.
I want to thank Brian for bailing. Great hosting job this week. And remember, the next time, although we probably saved at least 45 minutes in pauses. Remember, guys, the next time you go to a theater, buy popcorn. If you really want to host that bad sometime, you can host. Doesn't matter to me. I mean, not all the time. Come on. It's not
Someone's got to mispronounce shit.
Exactly. You ready, Justin?
I'm just over here eating my nuts.
Oh.
These are cashews.
What the fuck was that, dude? You just did like a Me Caveman thing. He's over here like punching his chest. It's quite possible. There might be something.
Speaking of shit, are we going to do this show?
Fuck you. Doing the contest, the best short, best animated short, best narrative short contest, because
Man.
yeah,
Scotty's attacking your zipper.